This time of year, Ken, except for a fan that has to stay up till 10:30 at night on the West Coast games, the travel, how much of a difference does that make in the playoffs, or lack of travel going to Nashville rather than going to LA or Vancouver in that respect? Is that a big deal to the players or no?
Well, yeah, I think that, what we found through the years, the biggest thing is, for some reason going west to east is tough. And, what I like about this series, we've done our itinerary. When game 2 is over on Friday night, we jump on a plane and we're going to land in Detroit at 12:30 Friday night. Guys are going to be in bed by 1:30. We can have a practice here on Saturday, and the game is on Sunday. If we're playing a West Coast team, when game 2 is over, we got to stay out there overnight, and the off day is not an off day. It's a 4 to 5 hour flight. Plus you got to get in the bus, and you got a bus, and then when you land, it's supper time before you get home. I also think that when you're coming from west to east, we come home. The road team really gets sequestered, and we come home and we've been gone for 4 or 5 days, and as we all know, you come home and there's family and friends from out of town with tickets, and there's responsibilities that just takes your focus off a little bit. So I like it that with this series for travel, after game 2, after game 5, we jump on a plane and we're home. It's an hour and 15-hour, 20-minute flight, and if we were playing against a West Coast team, we'd be heading out today. We get to stay home today. We're practicing at Joe tomorrow at noon, and we leave at 3 o'clock. So it's an extra day at home on the front end. It's an extra. Every travel day, every off day is not a travel day. It's a day where we can be at home. We can have practice, and we can continue to do our routine. So, it doesn't matter who we're going to play. It was a tough opponent. There's no secrets between Nashville and us. We've played each other 2 playoff series. They've had the same management, coaching staff since they got into the league. Mike Babcock's been here since 2007. We've had a series with them with Mike Babcock as coach. They know us, we know them. I like the idea that there's not much travel.
Ken, even though you said that each team knows each other, it's still true that when you go into a big game or a series, in your game plan, you're looking for that edge. What is the edge what do you feel is the edge that the Red Wings have over the Predators?
Well, I tell you, I don't think they have any edge over us, and I don't think we've got any edge over them. I get back to, they finished over 82 games. They had 2 more points. We played each other 6 times. They won 3 times. We won 3 times. We won once in their building. They won once in our building. I just think it's a real close series, and the game is going to be decided on the ice. The days, 10 years ago, probably you could look at our roster and you started to get into our 3rd and 4th lines, and there got to be real separation. We feel we can roll 4 lines. They can roll 4 lines. The game's going to be decided on the ice. It's 2 very good teams, and as I look at the National Hockey League, there's going to be a lot of real good teams in this league are going to be out after the first round of the playoffs. It's just there's some great matchups. I like that we've got experience on our roster. Our guys understand it's a 2-week series, and you don't get too high and low with a win or a loss in game 1 or game 2. You stick to the program. We were down 3-0 last year against San Jose. We fought our way back to game 7. So, one of the reasons you like experience on your team is that they maintain a status quo, and they pass that on to your younger players. So, I think but saying all that, Nashville's been in the playoffs every year. I think since 2005 they've only missed the playoffs once too. So I don't think that. Again, I think this is a great series. It's going to be decided on the ice. I don't look at us as the underdog, and I'm sure they don't think they're the underdog. I think that a lot of hockey people or these experts out there are predicting Nashville, and we got to go out and we've got to win the game on the ice.
Ken, over here. Considering, as you said, how close the competition is in the standings now in hockey, do you feel it's time now for the NHL to change the seeding policy in the playoffs instead of rewarding a division champion, even though they may have as many as 10 fewer points as a 4th or a 5th seed?
My take on that would be that I think you've got to get rewarded with something to win the division, otherwise don't have any divisions. Maybe, do you, now obviously we've talked about realignment now in the next collective bargaining agreement that's coming up this summer. The owners voted for realignment, which was going to be 4 conferences instead of instead of the 2 conferences with 3 divisions. As we sit today, if you ask me, I'd like to see that in round 2 it go to points, but I think in round 1, I mean, why have divisions if the division winner doesn't get rewarded with something? So, but I think ultimately in the next collective bargaining negotiations this summer, obviously in December, the owners voted to go to 4 conferences, 2 of 7, 2 of 8, and everything. The first 2 rounds are going to be within the conference or the division, first versus fourth. So it's going to be a moot point now, depending on how collective bargaining agreement plays itself out.
Kenny, I was just curious. I know Howard's our starter for the playoffs, no doubt about that. I was wondering for the backup goalie, what's the status on Joey McDonald, if any?
I'd say it's Ty Conklin. Joey hasn't really been on the ice since he got hurt. I don't know how long ago was it, a month ago. So it's Ty Conklin is the backup.
Hi. So do you think you could describe the demeanor of the team right now? Is it excited? Is it intense? What are the vibes that are coming out of the locker room?
I think it's an exciting time of the year. I think anytime you're in sports, the playoffs are what it's all about. But I also think having a veteran team, it's controlled enthusiasm, but I think they're excited. It's a great time of the year, and I think in life you want an opportunity. We got an opportunity. We've said all along. It's hard to make the playoffs, because we've made the playoffs 21 straight years. I don't think anyone appreciates, but there's only 2 teams that have made the playoffs every year since 2005 in this new system, and that's San Jose and us. It's hard to make the playoffs, so we've Shelley.
Who's that?
So I think I'll let Shelley speak to this as the former player. He wants to know. His question was, what's the mood in the room amongst the players this time of the year with the playoffs? Are they excited? Are they? I mean, how do they? What's the mood of the team and a player?
Well, because of our history, obviously, and the success we've had as an organization, and the players know what this city, it's all about the cup. Regular season, you position yourselves, and then this is the time of year when the cream rises to the top, and those guys that kind of not put it in coast mode, but you can't play 82 games and go all out 100%. It's just physically too grinding, and we've had the luxury of getting ourselves off to great starts every season to put ourselves in a position not to have to battle for that 8th final spot, and it makes a big difference. And the fact I think that we're not traveling to the West Coast initially, we've kind of got caught off guard. 2 years in a row in San Jose, getting ourselves down in those first 2 games, and then being down 3-0, trying to battle back, and that's not going to be the case this year, starting with Nashville. And then your momentum only is up to next game, but I think realistically, what the guys' frame thought or their mindset's going to be coming into Nashville, there's no time change. Right there mentally, I think that's a big advantage for us, as it's been in the past. So that's not an excuse. And it does make a difference, trust me. You go out to San Jose, LA, Phoenix, you're playing 10 o'clock at night. Regardless, making up excuses, it is a factor. And I've felt that before, but we're not dealing with that. So I think the guys are a bit of a relief, and we're going to get that change next year, I think it is, with the reorganizing or the CBA of not having to have to go to the West Coast in the first 2 rounds. So I know the guys are excited talking to them. They're looking forward to the playoffs. They always do. A lot of high expectations. The fact that the Tigers may have overshadowed us this weekend for the first time in 12 years since I've been here may play a role in it too. So these guys are coming in here. I'm not going to say we're underdogs by any means. We're as good as any team, if not better. The guys know that, and I think it's up to them now to get in that playoff mode and come out and initiate and come out of the gate with a big bang.
This is for Ken. What's your feelings on the Radulov situation And is it something that's going to be looked at again with the CBA in terms of him coming in with 10 games left or even less?
Well, it can happen. It cannot happen again. It was a sort of a unique situation where he signed an entry-level contract. After 2 years, the KHL allowed him to come back. Now, supposedly, there's an understanding between the National Hockey League and the KHL to honor one another's contracts. So, you know, not thrilled about it, but at the end of the day, we're gonna go out there and we gotta win. And we gotta worry about ourselves. And you know, he's on the team, and I think if you lose focus, you know, it affects you. So he's a good player, but we've got to make sure that we take care of business.